Do you think the Eighth Amendment means something different in Alabama? Could mean something different in Alabama than it means in, let's say, Florida or Texas?
No. I mean, I think,
Okay,
I will, may I just add one sentence?
Sure.
As we've pointed out in our brief, in the appendix, and I'm happy to answer questions about any particulars, there is no state, every state that has considered multiple test scores post-Hall, and it may also be true pre-Hall, I don't know, with the limited exception of Oklahoma, and Oklahoma only when there's one score above 76, has said if there are multiple scores whose SEM ranges individually reach 70 or below, you consider other evidence that is relevant to intellectual functioning. That is a consensus.
If the Eighth Amendment has to mean the same thing in every state, then there is the conundrum of of Atkins' reference to the discretion that is afforded to the states. And one possible interpretation of that seems to be the one that you are advocating, which is that federal law somehow incorporates state law, so that in determining whether there's an Eighth Amendment violation, the court is to determine whether there was a violation of state law. But isn't another possible interpretation of that the following, that the Eighth Amendment, as understood in Atkins, gives the states discretion, but there is an Eighth Amendment floor, and the Eighth Amendment floor is what cannot be, you can't go below the floor. And the floor is whatever a definition of intellectual disability, procedures for determining intellectual disability that are impermissible. And so long as a state does not go below that floor, a state court does not go below that floor, there's no Eighth Amendment violation.
I'm not sure. It seems to me so long as the state court does not apply the quote, means to enforce this constitutional rule, which is the language of Atkins, in a way that is inconsistent with the Atkins principle that persons whom a court interpreting court law that itself is applying the Eighth Amendment standard considers to be satisfying of all three prongs. In other words,
so I take